think it's great and the rest of y'all can lay off. I'm guessing sticking to dick jokes at nearly 40s childhood regression. When the fuck is the payoff? Clearly shorty was a better term than bitches, but when situations got us digging ditches just to pay some bills, we fix it back to burning witches when we should be burning corporations. But we bridges down fixing for pills, but who cares? Cause I can make it still, be the 1%. Ain't that the thrill? That'll fix it all. Let bears and bulls do their will, but it bears repeating. We full ass can't pay our bills still. Gotta keep the hope alive. American dreams for American lives. You forget your woes when I shuck and jive, and if that doesn't work, scroll me on by. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time. Next video make you happy, you're sure this time. Next video make you happy, you're sure this time. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time.
Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body.
Sure, we may not be healthy, but we're cuter than a selfie. Pure like romance market, self-pleasuring, multi-level market selling. It's telling how we're always faulty on the shelf, but still be fucking. Fucky knows now Tory spelling. Let's do Polly, Mary Shelley. Frankly, every dime of Ben Science money couldn't buy the kinds of things I feel inside whenever you are by my side. Hell, let's play shell games with our feelings. I'm on your line, just keep on reeling. You might be null, so fake's appealing. Stay in the weeds like Kevin Nealon. Heaven only knows what I would be without you. Feel big love like I'm Bill Paxton, but I'm broke like Brian Wilson. Should I hold on like his daughter? Is that lining up for slaughter? Need time for wounds to cauterize, so we hit heights like my alma mater. This is how it goes. Love is always messy. Gotta confess the best me probably can't see how to be a we when you keep me guessing. I want to stress that this is a bad situation for me. I should break up with you, but I don't wanna, cause
got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. And you like my body.
well, they say I'm on the rebound. Boy, your name is Ben Wallace. Be like Shaq and dunk it back, cause maybe I'm the tallest. But flawless I am not, so I'm questioning that shot. Like Big Ben shooting free throws, but you're really fucking hot. So what do they know? I'm not wounded just because they say so. Goons will bruise me, sure there's pain, but I always say I'm like a volcano. Can we be the same though? Not a simple yes or say no when you're clogged up on this dude like your life needs fucking Drano. It's insane though. He treats you like shit,
And you can't quit it. Now I've really stepped in it, cause I've got the feels for you and I should just move the fuck on. But I'm not going to, because
got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. And you like my body. And you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body.
whatever.
They call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
Murder on the beat like Godzilla slaying Tokyo. Just left your girlfriend's sheets. Boomerang, Rufio! Hooked her on this beat, Sonic. She was never saying no. Roll 20 on her tabletop, but she got some booty though. Chronic for the ones with positronic brains that wanna laugh and fuck that run but positive. But once I let you do that, kids will positronic. If I'm honest, Benny Well will probably still be here the night I leave this cruel demonic world and want me Sonic. Losing dreams are worse than me. Like that One Piece Luffy King, I'm out to find that booty, Nami's on it. So what you say out that COVID quarantine and you're looking good to me? Wanna let me in that Polly Pocket?
Lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
Fucking trends like I'm a winter soldier. No girlfriend, no scully to my molder. I pull on the defense fully when I'm older and still get checked like a door on this folder. Focus gold ranger hater, pink trying to domesticate. Masticate, I get it straight, so I ain't gonna masturbate. Swapping ride and take it low, faster than my own self-hate. Think I pull like Ricky Bobby, but I'm bagging Ricky Lake. It's just a journey that I'm on. I fuck a lot, don't tell my mom. I suck at bills cause weed's the bomb, and I like the girls when they get that green on. You did something hard to swallow, leaving me. Borrowed Jordan swine flying you from identity. Now I'm back to a future where it's just me in a world of Elizabeth.
Call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
They call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
Like the economy, don't call it a recession, cause 1% think it's great and the rest of y'all can lay off. I'm guessing sticking to dick jokes at nearly 40s childhood regression. When the fuck is the payoff? Clearly shorty was a better term than bitches, but when situations got us digging ditches just to pay some bills, we fix it back to burning witches when we should be burning corporations, but we bridges down fixing for pills. But who cares, cause I can make it still be the 1%. Ain't that the thrill? That'll fix it all. Let bears and bulls do their will, but it bears repeating, we full ass can't pay our bills still. Gotta keep the hope alive. American dreams for American lives. You forget your woes when I shuck and jive, and if that doesn't work, scroll me on by. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time. Next video make you happy, you're sure this time. Next video make you happy, you're sure this time. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time.
Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body.
Sure, we may not be healthy, but we're cuter than a selfie. Pure like romance market, self-pleasuring, multi-level market selling. It's telling how we're always faulty on the shelf, but still be fucking. Fucky knows now Tori spelling. Let's do Polly, Mary Shelley. Frankly, every dime of Ben Science money couldn't buy the kinds of things I feel inside whenever you are by my side. Hell, let's play shell games with our feelings. I'm on your line, just keep on reeling. You might be null, so fake's appealing. Stay in the weeds like Kevin Nealon. Heaven only knows what I would be without you. Feel big love like I'm Bill Paxton, but I'm broke like Ryan.
Well, I am not my much prettier girlfriend, but you should stick around and watch what I'm doing anyways, cause I share some stream accounts with my much prettier girlfriend, but I think if you hang out, you'll find out that I am we share a Twitch account. Twitch.com/dorkspace. She's on it, honestly, most of the time. I'm sorry that I'm not the hottie that you were hoping to find. Pretty hot though, if I say so, just not the hottie you were looking for. But I'm playing every game on the Nintendo 64. And every Final Fantasy game that's come before. So please stay and watch me, por favor. I can't do this song anymore.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Let's do this. Do you think we can do this today? Do you think today's the day? On this, the holy day of Silk Song coming out?
No, Nick says no. But maybe today is the day. That's how we ended the last week's stream. You're just looking at it. It went very well. I'll find this. No, it's right here. All right. There's our little water guy. Yeah. So let's hopefully beat this game. That we're gonna spend, you know, our entire life and existence playing. Everybody is not in the right places, so a solid start. Love that for us. So we're at this point where, like, it basically the run through, we have to run through both of these dungeons, right? And at this point, like, we have all the resources. The things that can kill us, it's leveling up is not going to, like, help with, right? It was like last week we just hit some really bad RNG. We had it happen one time when we literally walked in here and, like, insta died. It happens. And it's that kind of stuff that, you know, we can only do so much to really deal with and, like, try to prevent it and, like, try to stop from happening. At this point we have the best weapon in the game. There is one ribbon in the game, which is, like, fairly deep in this dungeon. So theoretically, you know, you could do a run into this dungeon fairly deep, hopefully not hit that RNG, get that ribbon, and then leave, and then save in a way that, like, you know, you have then literally, like, because you can equip one person with the ribbon and then you have a defense against, like, just the bad silly RNG stuff, right? But it's so deep in the dungeon that at that point, like, you might as well try to fight the boss. So, and then you know, you have to make another run then at that point too. So it's a wild, this whole, the existence of this whole thing is kind of wild and crazy. Okay. How are you doing so far? I'm gonna try to keep a better eye on that than we normally do. Their ADHD. I have a good feeling though. It's like I could use a win too. It's like a lot of things in life are bouncing not quite the right direction right now. So could really use Final Fantasy Fates to speak highly on it, sing highly on it. What is that? What is that phrase? I can't find it right now. But hopefully, yeah. I am excited about Silksong today, although it comes out in 50 minutes, and in 50 minutes I'm still gonna be doing this. Hopefully. I mean, I did die around that time last week. But theoretically, I'll still be doing this at that point. And then, you know, I have to go to work. So, much as I would love to today take a Silksong personal day, Nick says the entire Twitch left rail is going to be Silksong today. Yeah. That's not a game. That's not a stream game for me. Because I love and enjoy the experience of playing that game, but it's a very, like,
part of it is going to be like, oh, I'm being an idiot. And that's not a thing I need to do in public more than I already do. And crying over bugs. Yeah, I'm very excited to play that. It's crazy too. The $20 thing is they easily could. What's up, Sam? They easily could have charged. Good luck with the end. Hopefully, I get there. They easily could have charged insane amounts of money for Silksong, and people would have paid it. In a world of like watching Nintendo come out with their, you know, expensive. It's at the same price as like the other consoles, so it's like it seems a little unfair to call it expensive, but like expensive console with like $80 games, and just watch people buy it without blinking and be like, oh, new Mario Kart, $80, let's go. New Donkey Kong, $80, let's go. And which is all fine. It's fine. But just to watch that, and it's like people have heard me talking to microphones a lot on the show, and then this show, and then on like when we did the morning show. It's like, I was one of the first people to say like it is a little weird that like video games are one of the few things that like when you adjust for cost of inflation, like they have stayed about the same price, and then which has effectively made them get cheaper, right? And I will continue to say that is the weird fact about video games. However, I don't think any of us would mind paying $80, $100 for video games if, one, we were in the position to do so, and two, we thought that money was, the extra money was going towards developers and them keeping their jobs and being well taken care of and stuff like that. But the problem is, like, all that stuff tends to go towards corporate greed, and then they lay off the workers anyways. It says $180 for WWE 2K25 was a bit much, though. Was that just like their legendary edition or something? But like watching Silksong come out and them price it, I keep not looking at maps for this first dungeon, thinking I have it in my head, and apparently I do not. Oh, it's all the way up to the right. Okay. Got it now. But watching Silksong come out and be, you know, literally $20 and be like, nope, no pre-orders, and again, they could have very easily priced that thing even at like $30 or $40. I don't think people would have blinked too much at it and been fine. And then there's even a world where, you know, when the big guys are pricing at 80, you know, an indie game can pretty comfortably price at 50 to 60 and still be like, well, we're not those guys, right? You know, maybe indie games move into the tier that like the those games used to be, and for the guys that make Silksong to just be like, you know, nope, $20. Nick said it was one that includes all the bullshit DLC, which is just more wrestlers. A lot of who have been in the game before were removed from launch, so you'd have to assume it's just updated skins and old models. The models don't really change year to year. Yeah. I used to be really into getting wrestling games, but the sports gamification of wrestling games has really kind of killed it for me. And so like, since they've been in this like 2K whatever year zone, I'm glad people have fun with those, but like it is the like PS2 era of wrestling games, like the Shutdown, Smack Your Mouth, and such was kind of the last era that I was really into them. Nick says Silk Song's gonna sell 10 million copies in 10 minutes. Absolutely. But I think the price point is a big part of that. Like, I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna come out, and a lot of people that might have been on the fence of like, oh yeah, I'm so excited for that, but you know, I probably shouldn't be buying games right now. It's like, it's not really. When you see that the company priced at $20, you're just kind of like, all right, that's what I don't eat pizza this week. And I own Silk Song and the company that is literally like, not choosing to be greedy. I get to give them some money. Like, it's so absurdly impressive of a move, and it's made me kind of rethink the only reason I think Silk Song isn't more anticipated than GTA 6 is because the 11 to 16 market really don't care. Well, that's the thing about, like, so, like, I remember when GTA 5 hit, and it was being treated like, oh my gosh, a new GTA, let's go. And like, I was there when, you know, GTA 3 hit, and I was in the perfect age bracket, right? Like, I was like in junior high, and I was like, GTA 3 and Vice City, I was like, these are the greatest games ever. And they're fine. they're fine. Like, they're video games that I really enjoyed when they came out. I wasn't like, oh my god. Like, when GTA 5 came out, I was so thrown that people were treating it with this like oh, it's whew, the new GTA. And then it's like it sold a bazillion copies and made tons of money, and then it turned into an online game that has continued to just print money year after year after year after year. And so, like, what is a new GTA at this point? Is it I'm almost thrown that they're definitely gonna charge like $80 probably for that thing, but it's gonna print money forever theoretically if it follows the tracks of GTA 5. But if it's a huge like barrier to entry price point like that, like, won't most people just keep playing GTA 5, which I guess is like, that's like the Overwatch problem where they basically like had to shut down one of them to get people to finally move over to the other one, and then people just were like, Mah! Nick says the campaign was fantastic. It was a really fun game, but the online was newer as far as I'm concerned. It was toxic, it was slow, it was buggy as fuck, but it prints money. I mean, I agree with you on like all of that stuff. Like, I would be probably more interested in like another campaign, like seeing what that looks like in the year of our Lord 2025, and like I think they're really good at that kind of stuff. I don't want to pay $80 to play it though, and then I don't like, I don't want to. What I did with GTA 5 is, and you can't do any of this anymore, is that I went and red boxed it over the weekend so I could play through the campaign, and then I kept it like an extra, you know, I think I paid $10 instead of $3 or whatever so that I could keep it and play a little longer, and then I put it back to Redbox and had a good time with it and didn't really think about it again. And then about once a year we get jump scared by a news story that like like it's one of the most successful games in the world. I'm like, what? People are still playing that? Played that on the like Xbox 360 or whatever. Like it's weird to me. But it's fine. Like I just don't know what that campaign's gonna look like when the thing that everyone's gonna be foaming at the mouth for is another thing that's gonna print money at the clip that GTA Online does, which is crazy because you have that already in GTA Online. They milk that game for all she's worth, like Skyrim. Yeah. At some point there's going to be another Elder Scrolls game, and that's going to be fascinating because it's like there are some people, like I know people that just still keep playing Skyrim, like, and that's their game. They play that game and no other games. Didn't play any of the other Elder Scrolls. They just play Skyrim. They own like 6 houses in that game. They just keep adventuring, and it works for them. That would not work for my brain at all. I'm happy they're happy. But as much money as Skyrim has made, you know, they're sitting there looking at GTA like, oh man, we're just like, instead of Elder Scrolls Online being a separate thing, if we would have just somehow married these together, oh, like there's some corporate excitement there, I'm sure. But yeah, all that to say, Silksong is only $20, and it certainly didn't need to be. And the major critiques people are, you know, well, one, you get some amount when someone's like, hey, I'm gonna buy this just because, like, I want to support the fact that someone put their game out at only $20. Then you get people like, it's such a silly reason to buy something. Or like, no, vote for your dollars. Vote with your dollars. That's the least silly reason to buy something ever. Support the things you want to see in the world. You know, if you're someone that likes Team Cherry and like wants to support them, like, this is the exact sort of thing that you should be like, yeah, no, we're gonna reward the fuck out of the fact that they went through and did this thing that they did not have to do, right? Which I think is cool. The other critique that I see a lot though is like, well, they're such a smaller studio, and they only have this many people, and the budget's a lot smaller, so it's like they can do that. And it's like, yeah, no, that's exactly the problem with corporate video games right now. In movies too, and everything, it's like there's so much corporate bloat on all of this stuff. It's like a video game should not cost $300 million to develop, and I think if you look hard at those development costs, like, you will find, unfortunately, that a lot of that money is not going, you know, where you would hope. Sam says also it's okay for games to take years and years if they're good. Yeah. I'm very tired of Rush Slap, yeah. Nick said, right, but their last game was in 2017, so the profit from that game needed to float them until now. And it did. And it did. I think if you look at the again, I think that is like more, I think all the arguments against like, hey, more games should be priced like this lead back into like, yes, game development as a whole is kind of broken right now. That is how that should work. You know, that game made multiple millions of dollars. Most games that come out that we're like talking about that have like 300, you know, something like Spider-Man 2 had like a $300 million dollar budget so that it sold hundreds of millions of dollars but didn't turn a profit. Like, that's insane. Like, that's not how things should work. Like, if something makes hundreds of millions of dollars and loses money, something is inherently kind of broken. And I don't know, I just... We're in such a weird, you know, late stage capitalism-y thing where it's just like, it's like, yeah, Team Cherry is a small team. I think that's a design and a feature, not a bug, right? They're a tiny team, and they will hopefully continue to be able to remain, like, they made they sold 15 million copies of Hollow Knight at some variation of $15 a piece or less. Like, that's still, even if you account for a lot of sales and Steam's cut and everyone else is cut and this and that, it's still so much money. And when you have a small, tiny team, that money is like more than enough to keep everybody comfortable and okay. And have the budget to work and put out the next one. And it's like, and then their scope on this next thing, they could have like gone, like, this thing runs fine on like pretty old hardware. And part of that is they kept the scope in check, right? They could have like gone crazy and been like, we're the makers of Hollow Knight, therefore like we deserve to make the biggest graphic fidelity. Sam says my live channel's feed started shifting to Silksong already. It's not out for another 40 minutes. Nix was saying that, yeah, it's not out yet. And because they didn't do any pre-orders, everyone's gotta wait. It's gonna be like everyone watching people download Silksong. It's fine. I think that this, really, puts into like just some interesting things in the conversation water of like, our game's getting too expensive. It's like, it does remain true that when everything else has gone up, games, despite costing more, have like weirdly like been a little inflation proof. And that's true information that you can't argue with. I do think there's like some reasons baked into that. I think you have just more people overall gaming, like it's less of a niche thing. And then I think you also have like just, it is cheaper to put out a game, and meaning distribution, not meaning anything on development, but like the distribution of a game is a much cheaper operation these days than it was before. You're not putting out the shift from like cartridges to discs made it cheaper, right? And then we're now in an even cheaper version, which is like we're large swaths of it are digital. Nick says, oh yeah, there's a lot of grab the money while you can. That 300 million isn't because the studio charged itself 300 million. It's because film unions are still run like they were in the 80s and 90s and didn't lose jobs that were replaced by digital. They just moved those people to jobs. Like there's a union job where you take the memory card and give it to the guy who backs it up on the laptop that used to be responsible for driving film reels back to the editing suite. Sam says Hollow Knight is 7 gigabytes. I can't imagine Silksong being over 20. Yeah, it's not going to be bad, but it's just still funny to me that that's going to be what everyone's watching is people downloading that one. I get your point, Dex, but I would like I would like worked in marketing for 20 years. We had to follow the same rules as filmmakers. The amount of waste and unnecessary spending was on every budget spreadsheet I had to do. Yes. And there's a lot of Hollywood accounting. I would say that, like, in the film industry specifically, though, like, while workers like that have been protected, and some might say, you know, overly protected, the rise of CGI has been a problem because those workers are very much not protected and going through kind of the same thing the game industry is going through, which is like they don't have the unions to stabilize them in between jobs, and they get these places staff up and crunch, and then once the project's done, they dump everybody, and so it and they give them less and less time to work on things, and then because they give them less and less time to work on things, that's like their thing they're using to like get jobs at other places. Is like, you know, it went from like, oh, I work on Marvel movies to being like, I did the CGI on She-Hulk, and it's like, oh, you're responsible for that? And it's like, well, I did like 2 scenes and I got 50% of the time that I would have wanted to get with that. And like, okay, well, that looks pretty bad on your resume that you're responsible for that, you know. And it's just, it's that stuff has gotten real rough. So although unions do cause interesting issues, I'm on the whole pro unions, because like when you watch what happens when there isn't unions, like right now in the game dev space, in the, you know, CG space, you know, there's been some unionization of these peoples, but it's not, they don't have a big thing with a level of teeth of like a WGA or what Nix is talking about, the IATSE, I forget all the letters that make up that, but it's for all like the crew and stuff. Those organizations are infinitely more powerful than what we have right now for people that work in video games and people that work for CGI and stuff in movies. And it's getting like worse and worse because there's so much of executives, like, which are inherently the biggest problem is the executives. Like there's so much of just like, why would you spend money and time on planning? We can fix it all in CGI later. And it's just like, that kind of stuff is what's ballooning the budgets up and up and up. And the AI stuff and the combination of AI and CGI has given executives this like false notion that anything can be like changed at any given moment to fit their whims, and empowered them in these ways that it's like, and that's what's like seriously like blowing up the problem with the movie end of it, and maybe just as much like the problem with like the game end of it is, for a while it worked, right? It's like, if movies are making $1 billion, then, you know, a movie can cost 300, 400, 500 million, and who cares, right? The movie made $1 billion. You know, Captain Marvel came out in between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and is not a good movie, but it made $1 billion. And so like, at that point, who cares? Like, You know, like any critique that people were giving of like how Marvel made movies, how like much money was baked into these things, how the stakes were so high. Nick says 6 months of reshoots will hit your bottom line. Yes. Yeah. But they do this. You know, they shoot without a script. They shot the Avengers movie that's coming out next year. They shot it without a script. And they have to do it that way because it's like they have to build the CG fight scenes over like years and years and years, and they're just like, what if we did this, and we'll just like shoot scenes around it. And it's Sam says, I miss when movies felt special. I don't know if movies rolled out slower or if I was just too broke as a kid to go to theaters, but it feels like there are always so many movies coming out constantly. There's just too much for me to watch or even try to watch. I do think that's about to slow down. I think a lot of money is leaving. I do think you're weirdly going to get more movies and less TV. I think we're leaving the era of the TV money being absurdly abundant. And that's there's going to be good and bad news with that. Nick says in 5 years, AI will be a blessing for brands. You won't need to spend $500K to make a YouTube commercial with unions. You'll be able to buy a customized model that's tailored to your brand that will generate generic ethic people sitting in parks over generic background music while your AI announcer reads a script. I mean, there's some of that already, right? My end key is sticking. I think I did okay. I interpreted pretty well there. Oh no. Yeah, I think you're already getting a good deal of that, unfortunately. Remember the first time I got up here and I just like walked around and I was like, huh, weird. Maybe we forgot to pick something up and I just didn't step into the right square. Oh, these guys. You should get, I need a new keyboard. But yeah, I don't know. No, AI isn't being that widely used yet. Pipeline and persistence in there. So, maybe I just see more of it owning a small business, but like, there's just in these small business spaces, it is being marketed at us real hard, and then you can kind of see some neighbors using it, and it's that thing. It's like you're talking about working around unions. I think the bigger, crazier thing is that you have what used to be back in the day would be like, oh, well, like we're gonna have John's niece or nephew come in because she understands social media and marketing. You know, we need a young kid to run our TikTok channel, right? You used to get a lot of that. We need someone who can come in and be able to I get to control them all tiny. It's great. There's so much of that used to be a thing that like a small business would start paying minimum wage to some kid to do, and as much as a lot of these AI places cost, and I've played around with a lot of them, I keep unfortunately giving money to the music one, and every time I forget to cancel it because I like signed up for the trial, because that one scares me the most, because like that's a lot of what I do. I do silly raps for the store and stuff, and that's the most like, man, this is like literally stolen what I do. That's weird. And now I'm funding it because I signed up for the trial to see how much I could do with it, and then now I'm like, Like every time I see the thing, I'm like, God damn it, Jeff. But those are being marketed at us pretty heavily, and as expensive as that one's not bad. I think it's like 10 a month, but it's as expensive as like the full like video ones are. Those are cheaper than hiring some kid to make TikToks for you. And every shitty marketing thing tells you it's about quantity, not quality, right? It's about getting those 3 posts up a day. And, you know, you can pay a kid minimum wage and they might not get those 3 posts up a day for you. But you can, you know, make the AI thing fart out 3 just fine. Sam said not to shift the topic, but any fun ideas what I should replace ad breaks with? Maybe I'll take a page from Shiki's book and do 3 minutes of doodles. Are you just saying that because like the ads seem to be completely broken? I think you have the break so baked in though with like I worry that some of your human needs would get neglected. Nick said to what Sam said, movies and games feel more special back then because we didn't have access to streaming and online digital repositories. You had to physically go out and rent stuff, and you didn't have sales with infinite supply of games, 75% off, the stores only had so many copies, etc. Sam says, I mean, that's fair, but it also feels like shit is constantly churned out now, but maybe I'm just chronically online. I mean, we all are, but I think a big part of it is just like, we used to be able to go about our daily day and it was quiet and there wasn't as much sales things happening at us constantly. Why would you listen to those shitty marketing grifters? Because you don't want to pay a kid $12 an hour and you can't tell the difference between the two. Because like you're just like someone trying to sell soaps or burgers or whatever. Like you're not like, it's not anything like personal against these places that fall for it, because it's like they truly don't understand the difference or what's wrong with them utilizing this stuff, you know? And it's like the thing with paying artists, as someone who has paid more money to artists than most small business people at my level, because, you know, we did a bunch of like limited run t-shirts and we, you know, paid artists for that. And then we did, at one point we were gonna put out our own comics, you know, and the thing about paying artists is that sometimes it doesn't work out, right? Sometimes you pay an artist and you don't get what you want. Sometimes you pay an artist and, you know, in the case of, you know, pretty standard thing for art is to pay half up front and the other half when the project's done. And in the case of like our original art for like a comic, you know, we paid for interiors that we never got. You know, we paid the first half, but we never paid the second half. And I'm, you know, theoretically I could go chase that person down, but I'm not going to do that. At this point, that's just money that went and didn't happen. And so it's like, and I'm not saying that justifies using AI. I'm just saying that, like, to the person who's just like, I just got on this because I want to make hamburgers or whatever they do. There is some appeal in not having to deal with a human being that might fail you, right? Especially if funds are limited or whatever else. Like, you know that you stick in X amount of money that the AI thing is going to fart out something for you, right? Something's going to happen. Whereas, you know, you don't know if you pay this kid to make a TikTok for you, if anything. Someone who's had employees, like, sometimes it does not go well. And, it's rough, man. Like, I don't advocate for using the AI flop maker over hiring a person to do your social media, but I understand the motivations why someone would say yes to that. Sam says if Twitch is going to say it's not a bug or restriction and this is all normal, then I'm not doing ad breaks anymore. It's dumb and no one likes it. So you just turn in off ads? Is that a thing you can do, is just turn them off? Nick says the other costs you're not considering is placement. Placement can be more expensive than production. Like, it still costs $50,000 to place an ad on Snapchat that's guaranteed to be seen. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like that stuff continues to be more nebulous. And weirdly, as much as Sam thought he was changing the subject, it's kind of right in line with what we're talking about, which is just like, you know, is Sam the only person that ad stuff is broken for now on Twitch? Or is it just like, is Twitch itself like, is there less ad money there? Which could also be the case. Like, I don't know. Sam says Twitch says I have made 2 cents in ad/turbo since May. After May, it just stops, even showing a tick in my revenue. After months of watching it, I opened a ticket with support asking about it. Got a very botted sounding response. I like my interpretation with the word bottled. That was fun. All right, this is, I think, the encounter that fucked me up. So we're going to focus on the weirdos in the back, which I think is the correct strategy. And hopefully, if we can get them before they get us. Yeah, this is what got us, is the neural beam. And how ad revenue takes 12 hours to show, and that this could be normal seasonal change, but like you can look at my analytics from December 2021 today, filter down to ad turbo revenue, and there are little marks all the way up till May 2025, and then just nothing at all. Nick says you stream regularly to double digits and have a normal ad cycle. That can't be right. Yeah, but the problem with like any problem like this is if you can't get an actual human on the line, it's you're stuck, right? Like you need someone on the line to like look at the situation and how it is unique and doesn't fit into these easy boxes. And sometimes convincing someone that you have a unique problem is the problem. And then once you do, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get right this way, sir. And it's sometimes an easy fix, but like the problem is convincing you can't turn off ads, but you don't have to run them. People have to deal with pre-roll ads, but I run ad breaks manually. Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been doing on the stream because it's just easier. As we're trying to make these runs, I've just been going, and I don't like people having to deal with pre-rolls. But I guess if you get in early enough, you don't have to, right? It truly only affects you if you're coming or going or coming in late. I think that's the strategy. I think when those guys show up, we have to focus on those guys in the back. And I think as much as my woes last week were laid at the table, can you imagine if I accidentally warped out of here? Oh! I think what happened last week got laid at the table of bad RNG, and I'm not saying that's entirely wrong, but also, like, I didn't, in that encounter, I didn't go straight for, like, let's take out these guys in the back, which does probably make a difference. Sam says if they're going to A, not even actually look at the problem, B, gaslight me into thinking this is a normal thing. I'm not going to continue to waste my viewers' time, and I won't be helping Twitch make extra ad revenue. 10 hours since May. I had no idea this how many ads they have us run. Yeah. Do you have none or do you, how much game progress I could have made in 10 hours? Yeah, you'd be like a quarter of a way through another Final Fantasy game. That's crazy. It's rough right now, like being essentially a person that it's like, you know, like what I sell comics because like one, I need to eat, and two, like it is I love art and media and things, and I love talking about art and media and things, and that is like it bums me out when people are like mad about spending money for art and media, because that's like the one place in time that I spend money that it doesn't feel like I'm like losing a piece of myself. Like when I have to like spend money on like laundry soap, a piece of me like dies a little inside, you know? When I have to spend money for like a fucking light bulb, like I'm just like, what are we do? Or food, you know? I'm just always like, ugh. I gotta spend money for bread? That's different if I go to a restaurant and like someone's like made a thing that is not a corporation, right? Like then I feel like better about spending the money, but it's just like, I get really thrown off when people are like, oh my god, like, I pirate everything. Why would I pay for things? Because it's like, I fucking love art and I love supporting art, and like that's the one place that when I spend money it feels fine, right? But at the same hand, selling comic books, there are definitely times where it feels like I'm selling paper more than I'm selling art, and it's just like caught in this like world of just like, well, you gotta get all the FOMO advertising and everything else, and it's just like, I mean, really the problem just continues to be corporations. Like if we could like get down to just like cool indie shit coming out from cool artists, like I think the world would be such a better place. But I don't have the capital to make that world happen. I don't know. But like Twitch is this weird thing where it's like, we have this thing, like I personally, not everyone's like in the position, I don't know why I grabbed that in my head. I was like, I have an empty space, I might as well, but like there's something. I pay money so that I can watch Sam stream without ads, like $5 a month, and it's like, it's $5 that like I'm never like, when that comes out of my account, I'm never like, rah, it's $5 that's going to Sam, like everything. But it's like so baked into Twitch is this like weird carrot and stick model of like these ads that it's like you want to pay to avoid, and it's like the turbo thing grosses me out because it's like they're actually dissuading people from paying creators directly, and instead they're like, well, what if you pay turbo? The problem is the ad, like like they've made their ads like simultaneously like the carrot and the stick and the everything baked into one, because it's like the ads are how you quote unquote make money and how they quote unquote make money, but then they have this whole money incentivization baked into like, what if you got rid of the ads? And then it's so like the idea of not only ads being broken, but of Twitch Turbo being broken for Sam is so fucking frustrating and insane to me, because that means that it's like, because they spend so much, like every Twitch stream you go to, when ads pop up, it's not like, hey, don't want to see this? You can always like go and support the creator. It's like, hey, you don't want to see this? You should sign up for Twitch Turbo. And don't worry, we'll take care of the creator. And then meanwhile, they're not doing it. Sam said, I hadn't told you the weirdest part of that. I started getting ads about buying Turbo so I don't have to see ads like this ad. That is so gross. And of course they want you to do Turbo, because they don't have to revenue share as much or as deeply. Oh. It's and as someone who's like makes money from a lot of different places on the internet, and that's how I live. I can tell you the Twitch the Twitch thing is maybe one of the least generous splits as far as like money making stuff goes. Like when I sell a comic book for $5, right? Usually I have $2.50 in cost in that comic, right? That I paid to the publisher, but that makes sense because it is a physical good that I am not creating, right? It is a physical thing that I purchased at a wholesale cost, and then I'm now selling it to the end consumer, right? And that's, so I make $2.50, that they get $2.50 out of me, and that all makes sense. For that, most places on the internet in which like it's like, hey, we're charging money off your community, or we're charging money off of this thing. In most of those places, it's like 10%, 20%. Some of the bad ones eke up to 30%. It is so crazy and wild to me that Twitch is just like 50%. And the, you know, they're the game in town, right? And then they also have like this, it's in some ways so similar to like real life stuff, right? Is that there's enough people that are in this like small 1% of Twitch streamers that are just making absurd money, that like people think and feel like that, you know, like, oh, that's gonna be me someday, and so they don't really look that hard at like the revenue sharing, which is like, it's fine. I like Twitch for what it is. It's just, it's a bummer that like, and it's like the amount of money that they spend letting people stream the amount of stuff that they do is kind of insane. You know, and then it has to make some money. But if you give a sub to somebody, I think all of us would wish that like more than half of that was going to the creator. Sam says Twitch makes dumb choices too often. Like the easiest way to fix their finances is to cap quality. All of us are like in the top 5% of the platform. So many hundreds of thousands of streamers stream 1080p, 60 frames per second, 6,000 kps to no one at all. Just cap non-affiliate, non-partner streamers to 720, 30 frames per second at a lower bitrate. That would save a ton. Instead, they roll out a new feature so people can stream up to 4K, which Twitch still has to cover all the cost of. All the people watching those bigger, fancier streams, yeah. No, their decisions don't make a lot of sense. And it's frustrating. Because, like, that's all money that, like, can you imagine a world where, like, it was, the problem is, like, people, so, like, here's the inherent problem. Like, comes down to it. Like, we have a couple generations of people that grew up in the internet as the internet was, like, born and, like, starting and thriving, and, like, those people, for better or worse, have an interesting relationship with the idea of spending money for things, because so much of the Wild West of the internet was things being stable or making money because venture capitalism investment, and this will make money someday. And then it's like very few things have, like, turned the corner of, like, once it became a thing that had to prove it could make money and not just build a user base, right? Very, very few things have, like, pulled that off and not just gotten worse and shittier, right? And then alienated their user base, and then move on, and, like, and so there's a couple things that, like, unfortunately are just true. You know, we live and exist in capitalism, and you have to either undo that or things need to cost money. There's not really much getting around that. And then, but we have just a large pool of people that have been trained that things shouldn't cost money. So we either need to get rid of the system, which is hard or impossible, or we need to train generations of people that we need to retrain generations of people that have been trained that things should be free, that things in fact should not be free. And that also seems difficult and not impossible. And I don't know what to do with that. That's where we're at. You know, we just gotta teach people self-hosting, get back to the Wild West of the internet. Yeah, it's self-expensive, but, like, I'm down for it. Elixir time. Cracking the first elixir, let's go. We're doing okay so far. Don't want to count our chickens, obviously, in this insanity that is this game. But as stated, could definitely use a win right now. Life is keeps throwing me the punches. Sam says it's expensive, but less so because one platform wouldn't be hosting billions. Yeah, I mean that aspect of it is true. And that's all right. So up. Like, the insane cost of service comes for trying to put everyone in one platform. Yeah. But also, I don't know what the kind of answer is, because at some point, like, and like, Twitch is its own different thing, right? But, like, if we talk about, like, not live streaming, but we talk about more, like, complete tangible products, right? They're easier to talk about in terms of money. It is this weird thing you have to try to navigate around, which is, like, at some point it just becomes better and easier to like pirate the thing, which people do, right? So like you have to create a product, like you're constantly at war with that on top of everything else, and it's just there's this again, the problem kind of comes down to the corporations. 'Cause, like there's a weird like because so many of the ways that we interact with spending our money are with these like soulless, would kill us in a second to make a profit corporations, that means that like we have lost all sense of like paying for things like art and like or like things that take like time and craft and everything else. It's this very weird existence we've put ourselves in, and I'm not sure the quickest way out of it. And then when you try to extend it to a less like, you know, easy product like that, something like streaming, which is like effectively, you know, Twitch is making, so like your buddy who streams on Twitch and just like you know, has, you know, 9 viewers, right? Might not make Twitch a lot of money, but he's keeping those 9 people in the ecosystem, and like those are 9 people that like, oh, my buddy's on, like I'm gonna hop, and like that will then lead the person to go to something else and watch someone else, or they raid in and then they're in, and maybe there's, you know, maybe that guy with the 9 things, like 9 people hanging out, doesn't do a whole lot of like incentivization to spend money, but you know, the stream they go to does, and so his 9, you know, he's like weirdly this fountainhead towards Twitch actually making a lot of money, but the revenue split is such that it's just like he's not making the money, even though he's leading these new people into the ecosystem of how Twitch makes money. And so, you know, what makes sense is probably something that's a little bit more of a straight revenue split across the board. But then you don't get as much of like the elite 1%ers of like, okay, but then the whole thing's weird. This company focus on watch time and viewership, but like the more people watching, the longer the content, bigger files the server has to host, makes it all cost more. Seems like none of it will ever be profitable. Yeah, and it's a weird, the whole thing is like strange, and it either needs to be like so completely free that like money is not tied into it at all, and it's just a like, but it inherently can't be, because it costs money to do these things. This is the stream that is costing Twitch money right now. There's 100% not enough money coming through the gates right now to justify the quality for Twitch that I stream in pretty low quality, but just like this is a thing that Twitch is losing money on currently, right? Because it costs bandwidth, it costs money. Don't worry, Jeff, I watched in 360p. They're not losing much. Nick said that was the only thing I liked about Asmongold was how much money he cost Twitch. I would need more context for that. I wouldn't know the thing. Alright, I have to figure out how to get through here. Give me a second. I've only gotten this far like once before. Double check the... Okay. Sorry, there's like weird switches too. I had to make sure that I didn't need to get those. I have to go into... I work backwards. Okay, so you go that door. But yeah, it's like the weirdness of this stuff is like I'm having a good time. I'm like at this point, you know, there's probably a time where we will like stream it more in the sense of like this is maybe going to be a gig or a side gig again. We're not in that mode right now, obviously, or you'd be seeing us a lot more and it'd have a lot more structure to it. But like I'm having fun right now, but my having fun right now is costing this place money. Which is fine. And like there's maybe like some inherent like good in that not everything in life needs to make money, and like this is also like some sort of like art or art adjacent thing, right? I don't know what you call streaming. It kind of is a weird thing to like make anything, and it's like I'm the first to say that art doesn't inherently need to, you know, make money. That said, because we exist in capitalism, it is costing money, and we don't have the sorts of things where like we structure things like in other countries. You know, they're talking about movies in other countries. There is, you know, like government grants and stuff that fund art in ways that we just don't do here. And so we're kind of at the mercy right now of venture capital money and whatever it thinks is like the cool trendy thing at the time. And at the behest of the venture capital gods and Jeff Bezos, right? Like right now, we're good, right? Like I can sit and do this stream and not have to worry about the fact that it's not making money. But as soon as the corporate overlords change their mind, that goes away. Nick said he had an unmonetized channel he would stream to, so no subs, any of that. But I guess the ad revenue offset it. I had seen somewhere that it cost Twitch millions, but I'm seeing that the ad views offset it, so it actually didn't cost Twitch anything. And OMG, Hollow Knight is out. Yeah, Silksong is out as of 9 minutes ago. Oh, here's the ribbon. Is the ribbon going to be worth fighting this thing? Does it burn? A little bit. Not as much as you'd hope. Nim says I have to dodge so much of Twitch and YouTube now. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not going to be streaming Hollow for Silksong. You got that going for you. We'll be streaming Hollow Knight tomorrow, I think. What is your, do you have any, like, timeline for when you think you're going to be getting Silksong? I'm just curious. Nick says I look at stream meetings. I've been playing this game anyways. At least if I'm streaming, I can chat with someone while I'm doing it. Sometimes, at least. Yeah. At this point, I'm using it as a means of like I've always wanted to do this Final Fantasy thing where I like actually play through all of these games that like you always. I'm gonna try the other spell and see if it hits better. like, I've always, that's an insanely heavy hit. Holy shit. This is a fight. I mean, it is for the one ribbon in the game, so I guess I get it, but holy shit. Is this where we end our journey? Is realizing we should have walked past the ribbon? Sam says, no, the economy here has been so wild that, like, we need to be responsible. We have enough games right now. We don't need to buy anymore. Grocery prices have been all over the place with the will we won't we tariff shit. Nick said, I looked at a list of unplayed games on Steam and it's insane. Like, there's easily a few grand worth of games I've never touched. Oh my goodness. This might be it. This is I mean, it kind of works out because I have unfortunately stuff to do, but it's not what you want to see, right? Cheeking me easily over 1,000 games, which is bonkers. That was just the instant kill spell too. Yeah, Humble's great. Oh, and I'm blind now. Cool. So, I think the lesson is, you know, we walk past this chest. It's like so in the path, the critical path, that I was like, oh, a chest. I didn't even look what was inside of it. I was just kind of like, because I wasn't going to go for the ribbon. And then when I got it, I was like, well, cool. You know, maybe I'm going to have a debate about, do I like, Jeff, I'm dead. Everyone's dead. I mean, with the exception of Jeff, who is like weirdly barely alive and being toyed with like a mouse at this point. You blinded a blind man. That was a waste of a move. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's all you had to do is physically attack me and it was gonna be over. Well, this week is not the week, clearly. Let's read up on that situation so we can try to avoid it again. What the fuck was that thing called? And whatever what are its stats compared to the final boss? Because if the final boss is that we can't even get to yet because we keep dying on the way, I'm never gonna be able to shave. God damn it. Ah! Guarded by Astaroth. Okay. 7,000 HP. See what. Try to see if I can get more. Oh, there's a Tiamat here too, guarding something. Alright, I got the math. Is dedicated to the ribbon path as well as the floor. You'll have to head north through the archway. Use the central room with the ribbon. This fantastic piece of headgear grants resistance to all 8 elements, making you immune to most status ailments. Well, yeah. Ribbon is guarded by Astaroth, a fallen angel with a whopping 7,000 HP. He has the ability to heal himself with his 8 HP draining attacks, as well as drain 16. Otherwise, he doesn't present a fundamentally different challenge than the other bosses. Okay. That 7,000 HP is crazy, though. I mean, the Emperor has 10,000. I mean, yeah, in both the cases, the final boss and the other boss, like, people are recommending having someone have the blood sword, which we don't have someone equipped with it right now. Because it's, like, it's super helpful in boss battles and, like, nothing else. And we didn't know that boss battle was gonna hit. There's no reason to get the ribbon other to, like, guarantee better RNG on the critical path. That said, maybe going through getting the ribbon as a goal and then leaving makes sense, because that would then we would then retain those levels and then be better equipped to take on something that has 10,000 HP. It just sucks. It's like, I want to, you know, I'm clearly, like, ready to be done with this game. But we're not. We're not there. I imagine, even though he has more HP, that the Emperor might actually be an easier fight. But I don't know until I'm in it. Time to level more. That's why I'm saying, like, I think, like, having the goal of getting the ribbon means you go through and you inevitably level a little more just doing that. How close to the final boss were you before that chest? Let me pull the guide stuff back up. So 8. I mean, you have to backtrack into a room, so counting that as another room, I guess. 2, 3, 4, or 5 rooms away. So, but that's the hairiest of the. From the looks of it, obviously I've not been in these places yet. That looks like the hairiest of the getting through, because it's like there's like 3 rooms there that chain together, and you have to like go into one to backtrack into the other to get where you need to go, and then I really don't know how you get through that screen. I'll figure that out when we get there, I guess. And then yeah, that one's a long one. That one's less so. It's turn on to encounters, right? It's fine. I love this game. I do. And it is what it is. I'm going to be playing it way longer than I want to. But and if we had 3 or 4 hours of streaming, I'd just be starting back up at this point. I do think I'm going to sleep on it, but I do think, getting that ribbon as a goal might make sense, because it's, like in that run we leveled up a bunch, and had we pulled that off, it sucks to like root back out to the start, but you root back out to the start a little more leveled up, and then and we can go into that fight next time. I think a few longer streams would be a good idea if the story okay for that. Yeah, it would not have made sense at all in the last month, but we'll look at it and try to figure it out. There is some niceness in like taking a week to think about, like, all right, so what are we doing here? But yeah, at some point I do need to shave my face. At some point I need to not have a beard. And I did shampoo and condition it, which is like a thing I've not had to do, being a bald guy. Not a thing I've had to worry about. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, watching me fail. Are you gonna braid it if it gets to dwarf length before you shave it? I don't know how to braid, but maybe. By the way, it's all for YouTube. It's all for eventually putting out a video essay on this game. And if you want to watch my video essay on Final Fantasy 1, it's on there on that YouTube link. Please check it out. But yeah, otherwise, I got stuff to do. I'm not going to raid out. But I love you all. Be honest, be kind, be useful. Live a good life. Until next week, where we probably will fail again, but we'll keep trying. We're going to do it. Nyx believes in me. That's enough. That's all I need. We'll get it done. Sam says go watch it. Yeah, listen to him. All right.